Yo, what up? It's your boy Tom, and it's Wednesday, my dudes. You know what that means. This is going to be a replay of True Draco versus Drytron. Now, True Draco has a interesting matchup, to say the least, against Drytron. Cards such as Herald of Ultimateness actually don't pose very much threat to True Draco, but individual tech cards that certain Drytron players run that others don't actually do pose a problem. One of these would be the actual Drytron ritual, that is the one that deals with spells and traps. And the other is Cyber Angel Natasha. Now, not all Drytron builds run these cards, but the ones that do have a better way to actually deal with True Draco than those that don't. But what would normally be an auto win against most decks, Herald of Ultimateness, actually is fairly easy to out. The thing that True Draco does have a problem with is their ability to swarm the field and rebuild their board. And also, like I said earlier, these other tech cards. So my opponent here is going through the regular Drytron line here. They've cycled through their Drytron names. They've got a Beatrice on board, and they've got the Herald of Ultimateness to their hand that they will summon shortly. They've resolved Ben 10's effect a few times. And this is the part where I find out that my opponent is playing Cyber Angel Natasha, and that actually does pose a problem because it is able to steal your monsters. So when you aren't able to actually keep board presence, it is pretty difficult. So that card is actually probably their most effective card that will come into play in this game here. They also have an IP Masquerena, but I mean, that's not particularly anything special. That's just another interruption that I have to play through. So obviously this is going to go into a grind game. And once we start hitting those phases of the grind game, Cyber Angel Natasha will pose some problems. But first, just get rid of the Ultimateness. Tribute summon over a trap. The trap can pop the Ultimateness. Ultimateness cannot negate it because it can only negate spell or trap card activations, not the effects of a spell or trap card. So then they decide to go Masquerena and Natasha into Unicorn, and then after this the chain resolves and Apocalypse will destroy the Ultimateness. In a new chain, Nightmare Unicorn will trigger. I'll just go ahead and chain Dynamite to get a trap on board. We're going to have to try to play through some of this. I can't really get through the rest of their board here, but I'm going to do what I can. They do get the Ava, which gets them into Orange Light, which actually could pose a problem. Afterwards, go for Heritage, since we've already used our normal summon here. Heritage to draw into a Pantheism, that's fine. Summon over the Ignis. Now, I should have gone for Return here to pop a second card, but I set a second copy of Apocalypse instead. That was a misplay. Force out the activation of the Link Karibo. Then after that, activate Demise, use the Disciples for a third normal summon, get Dynamite on board, Heritage, destroy the back row. Dynamite is on the field now, and use Disciples to shuffle 3, draw 1, set 2, end phase, discard the Ignis due to Card of Demise. So they go for Natasha, attempting to steal Dynamite. I'll go ahead and chain Dynamite to that to get another trap to hand, and then I will use Apocalypse to destroy the Dynamite to stop them from taking it. And in the process, halving the attack of all of their monsters. Afterwards, Natasha will still special summon itself, even though it does not take control of the monster that it targeted. I will chain Ignis to Natasha's on-summon effect. They will use Herald of Orange Light here, which will negate and destroy the Ignis. I am fine with that, though. They get Medionus Drytron back to hand. And after that, they will tribute off the Natasha, putting it in graveyard again, and the graveyard is where they want it to be because that is where they can attempt to steal the monsters that I have on my side of the field. They go for Cyber Emergency. Imperial Order will be flipped up here. After that, Alpha will summon itself here, and then Gamma will summon itself as well, along with Delta. That allows them to go into a Link 2 here, and that is going to be Nightmare Phoenix. They're going to threaten the Imperial Order. So this is the part where I'm going to flip up the skill drain. So there isn't a whole lot that they can do from this point with Imperial Order and skill drain on the field. They can still activate effects in Graveyard, but that's about it. After that, they go for another Link summon here, Link 4 into Boral Sword Dragon, rather. This will be 4,100 points of damage on top of the 1,000 that I took from Skill Drain and the 700 I'm about to take from Order. Life points are a resource, though, and the only one that matters is the final one. So I'm going to half the attack of their monsters with Apocalypse. I'm going to get rid of the Order so I can Pantheism. I'm just trying to draw a monster here, and failing miserably. I need to see a monster. So I'm going to Droplet away the Apocalypse, half the Unicorn attack, Apocalypse, destroy the Boral Sword Dragon. Let's go for Heritage. Use the draw effect. Draw 2, still don't find a monster. This is starting to look miserable. They draw for turn. They go straight to battle phase, saying that this would be lethal. However, I do have back row still. I can use True King's Return to summon Ignis from the graveyard. I still would like to draw a monster. Let's see if we can do it this turn. That's not a monster. Alright. Return effect, summon the Dynamite back. Of course, when they're special summoned from the graveyard, they are not able to get their search effects. They're just bodies. I need to actually tribute summon them to get the ball rolling here. But I'll use Apocalypse effect, destroy a card, half the attack. Heritage lets me draw 2, still don't draw into another monster. Just going to pass turn here, hope that they can't kill me. This is where they go for Natasha again. Unfortunate. But I will use return here. Summon Ignis. They will have to attack over that. And due to the attack order that they chose, I was able to essentially chump block their battle phase here. They're going to attempt to try to rebuild their board at this point. Alpha effect, Gamma summon Delta, after which go into the Drytron. This is where they go for the big ritual monster in the Drytron archetype that not everybody plays, Medionis Draconids. I believe this is the one that deals with monsters. Let me double check. Actually, it just destroys face-up cards. And it can attack all special summon monsters. So that is not the one that threatens True Draco particularly, but it is still a very large monster that we needed to get rid of. They go for the Natasha effect again. Unfortunate. And as we can see here, during the previous turn I set 2 copies of Strike, and this is actually a misplay that loses me the game. I needed to keep 1 copy in hand and keep 1 spell trap zone open, so Dynamite's effect could then activate Apocalypse so I could use it that turn. Since my zones are clogged here, once Strike resolves, I will get to draw a card and keep the trap that I get off of Dynamite, but it has to go to hand because my zones are clogged. And without Apocalypse on the field, I can't battle trick them. And with another name in hand, letting them go through the lines of all of their Drytron names here, they unfortunately are able to build back a substantial board that will be able to get over my limited board presence here. Without Apocalypse being on the field, I do not stand a chance of surviving this battle phase. They summon back their ritual monster once again, and that is a 4,000 attack monster, my own 2500 attack Dynamite and a 2600 Michael. All of these individually could be lethal with just a single attack going through. I can return one monster to the field with True King's Return, but it is not enough. And unfortunately, I do end up losing. A hard-fought defeat or a hard-fought victory for my opponent, however you choose to look at it. So yeah, I think this is just particularly interesting because of the way that True Draco works. The strongest points of Drytron are actually less effective, as you would expect, but a combination of smaller interactions is really where this matchup lies. And yeah, don't misplay. Don't clog your spell trap zones. That's the lesson that we can take away from this. Well, if you enjoyed this replay, go ahead and leave a like, and then subscribe for future content, and comment in the comment section below if you know which Herald monster actually would be able to negate the effect of True King Return or True Draco Apocalypse in the graveyard. It's not Ultimateness.